This is the hard truth.
I want to talk about something here, which I think is very key to the current world situation and how things are panning out for humanity generally. First of all, we've all seen recently that Tucker Carlson, Jordan Peterson, Andrew Tate, Russell Brand, there's an awful lot of people now that are out there as the spokesman for certain things. It's almost a truth overload that's coming our way. There's an awful lot of things going on in Congress where the FBI, the Department of Justice are all being taken to task. There's investigations, a real investigation now into January the 6th. Security camera footage that was suppressed is coming out. Investigation into Ray Epps, who was never arrested but was seen there actually encouraging people to go into the Capitol building, was never arrested. And there's investigations into COVID and all sorts of things. So I believe that what we went through over the last 2 years was a red pill situation. I believe that for people to wake up and realise what was really happening, examples had to be made. I think with Trump, a lot of those examples he initiated on himself to draw the attention, to draw the fake news. So, for example, there's the raid at Mar-a-Lago on his house about documents, which a huge deal's made of. But then that allows the real situation with Biden's mishandling of documents and the fact Biden's got documents stored in Chinatown and things like this. The fact Biden took documents as a senator when he wasn't supposed to. And he's got thousands and thousands of documents he shouldn't have, is the real issue. So Trump has brought the heat on himself to expose the real situation. And I think this is the plan. This is the good guys' plan. This is what they're doing. This is how they're working. They're using the fake news against themselves by using themselves as an example. And it's bringing all these things to light. Hunter Biden now, he's being investigated properly. And you get all these fictitious and surreptitious indictments against Trump for nothing. But then that allows there to be the force or the forced through use of equal justice. So then indictments will come against Biden and Hunter Biden. And I think you're going to see a lot of this now. I think it's a very clever plan. I would also say with the virus that popped up a couple of years ago, that there was collateral damage planned for, but the creation of the collateral damage is the evidence. So essentially, you release a virus initially, which is quite bad, a pneumonia type virus, which creates the fear factor, allows the deep state mechanism to lock people down, make people wear masks, all things that are the exact opposite of what you should be doing in a flu season. Getting fresh air and being able to breathe. And for example, with the old people, Anthony Cuomo in New York, he put all the old people back in the homes, locked them all down. And of course, even in a normal flu season, if you do that, instead of isolating the people that are sick from the normal people, you're going to create more deaths. And if you remember in New York, Trump offered and had sitting by in the harbour, a hospital ship, so that the old people could be isolated. Cuomo refused it, put them all back into the old people's home, and loads of them died. So essentially, the carrot was dangled and they took it. So the collateral damage, unfortunately, was necessary to expose the agenda. And the agenda was, buy the mechanism, kill more people. Buy the fake news, pretend it's 50 times worse than it actually is. Have ticker tapes running underneath. You know, another person dies, another person dies. Well, nobody's ever done that with cancer or pneumonia or tuberculosis. So why, with essentially what became, if it was there at all, a bad flu in the flu season, why was this done? Why? Because it had to keep the agenda going. And it was a psyop. It depended on fear to work. And what was the object? The object was less people. That was the object. Now, that had to be exposed. And I believe it was exposed. And the collateral damage was, unfortunately, the result of the allowance of use of the mechanism which created more deaths. Now you look at the vaccine, for example. We've had vaccines for almost 100 years. And bar a few at the beginning, most have had side effects or dubious, or vaccines they're giving children now are extremely dubious, and most medical experts say unnecessary. How do you stop that? Well, by highlighting a huge problem in the mechanism, by highlighting a huge problem with a vaccine. Now, in my view, Trump brought forward the use of the vaccines. He brought them forward, Operation Warp Speed. And I think the aim was to prevent the deep state plan of 5 years of lockdowns. And he stopped that. Of course, again, there was going to be collateral damage because the virus was dubious, to say the least, untested, no human trials. But again, it exposed it. It exposed the fact that the vaccines were dangerous. It exposed that. And it's made people think. And now people are looking into it all. And again, this is being investigated now. So, again, the collateral damage had to happen to show the example of how bad these things were. So, from a position of the majority of people in the world believing everything the government says, now, I would say 7 to 8 out of 10 people do not trust a word they say because it's been exposed. They don't trust the world, the health authorities. They don't trust Big Pharma. They don't trust Big Tech. They don't trust any of these people. They know behind the scenes that these billionaires who are after money don't care about humanity. To them, it's collateral damage. And that's what's been exposed, the collateral damage. The way they don't care if there's collateral damage. And that, I believe, by the good guys, the alliance, is the sting to expose the deep state's use, complete lack of empathy in allowing and accepting unnecessary collateral damage. Expand this up. We have the DOJ being investigated now. We have the FBI being investigated now. The Fauci, a true January the 6th hearing. They called it an insurrection. It wasn't an insurrection at all. It was a protest that was exacerbated by members of the FBI, planted in the crowd, like Ray Epps, who can be seen on video, clearly encouraging people to go into the Capitol. Police were looking the other way and letting people go in. Nancy Pelosi refused, before January 6th, Trump's offer of 10,000 National Guard support, because Trump knew what was going to happen. So again, the preventative solution has been given to the deep state. They refused it. Again, causing some collateral damage. Ashley Babbitt was shot point blank. You know, we had a bunch of grandmas protesting what they believed to be an unfair election, and it is their right. We have the freedom of speech. We should have the right to be able to protest. And, you know, this was no Antifa crowd or BLM crowd we're talking about here. This was normal folks fed up with the abuse of power by a small contingent of multi-billionaires behind the scenes, orchestrating essentially the inverted commas deep state movement. But of course, before anything can be dealt with, it has to be exposed. Prime example, the raid on Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. Big deal made of it on all the fake news stations, CNN, MSNBC and things like this. But what did that allow to happen? That allowed the investigation into Biden's illegal documents that he has from when he was a senator. And senators aren't allowed to take these sort of documents home. There is no arrangement. Not even the vice president is allowed. And Biden's got thousands of these documents and stored in Chinatown and in his garage. So that the Trump situation allowed the use of equal justice against Biden. So it can't be stopped. It can't be turned over. So essentially, the alliance are using the deep state's mechanism, and the deep state are, you know, or were completely dug in the courts, in the justice system, in the FBI. That's not to say everybody in the FBI and the DOJ is corrupt, not at all. But there's an upper echelon that is, and it's politicised. And the FBI and the DOJ have been weaponised against a political opponent, which has never happened before. And again, all these situations are exposing this, are presenting two scenarios to the general public. It doesn't matter whether they like Trump or not. They're seeing this is unfair. This can't be right. Now, if you look at the Ukraine situation, nobody's talking about the way the Ukraine are treating religious people, arresting priests and, you know, smashing up nunneries. And nobody's talking about the brigade of Azov, neo-Nazi guard, that are horrendous to their own people. Nobody's talking about this because the deep state agenda is bad old Russia, poor old Ukraine. Poor old Ukraine that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden had huge shares in, Burisma, in the Ukraine, and were taking huge payouts, as they were from China. They were using, or Hunter Biden was using, the position of his father for financial gain. This is all on record. There is evidence. There is taped phone recordings, everything. This is all going to come out. So what the Alliance have done is they've turned the ridiculously almost depraved mechanism of the deep state upon themselves. And they've done it by way of example, by showing people. And I believe in a lot of instances, Trump's took the heat on himself as an example to get the message out. And it's happening too commonly. You know, it's too much to be a coincidence. And there's investigations into everything now. Investigations into the FBI, the DOJ, Fauci, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, all of them. And I think we're going to see in the next 18 months some huge surprises, where I think we're going to see an awful lot of indictments. And there's up to 45,000 sealed cases at the moment, which, can turn into indictments on opening against a lot of these people waiting to be activated. 45,000. Now, that's unprecedented. There's normally 1,000 or so lurking around, but we've got 45,000 waiting to go. So all these people will be brought down. The only fear is the decimation they do in the interim period. They need to be brought down before they do something stupid or activate a nuclear device somewhere or something like that. Blame the Russians, That always seems to be the standard fare. Now, I'm not saying by a long shot that Putin is a good guy. He's certainly no angel. But Zelensky, this cross-dressing Nazi, certainly is not somebody that anybody should be behind. I feel sorry for the Ukrainian people. I feel sorry for the Russian people. I feel sorry for any people involved in an unnecessary war. And this is an unnecessary war. This is about power posturing and NATO plonking themselves on the border of Russia and staying there when they shouldn't be. And they have done. And the deep state using all the means necessary to essentially get rid of anybody hostile to the deep state mechanism, which is a one world order. So I think what we're going to see now is a real reawakening. The red pill for the people has already started to happen. It's being shown how bad these people are. People are seeing it. People don't trust the news anymore. People don't trust the governments. And such stupid things are happening at this level. It's exposing these people for what they are. And it's my view that this is all being orchestrated. This is one huge sting operation. As I've said before, a big chain of thought says it's already over and done with. And this is just literally, we're watching a movie to red pill us, to wake us up. So keep the faith, because I think this is going to be over very shortly. Go and watch Sound of Freedom, a fantastic film that everybody's tried to block, a massive expose on paedophilia and on child trafficking, which of course the deep state wanted blocked. And again, finally, this huge issue that's lurked around for at least 50 years and been swept under the carpet, is finally coming to light and finally getting the exposure it deserves. And people need to not bury their heads in the sand. They need to see what's happening. Because, as they say in the film, our children are not for sale. And again, the deep state, who've earned billions from child trafficking networks, they need to go. They need to be taken down. And we must all hope that what I'm saying is correct, that it is a massive sting operation, and that within 18 months it'll be finished. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that's the way it's going. Thank you.